What's up, guys? Rick here with my top 5 sleepers for this week's Waste Management Open. These are golfers that are a little bit further down the board, maybe a bit of longer shots to win this golf tournament or contend. Just in general, guys that I think there is a bit of value on, or guys that might be getting overlooked so far this week. Join me Wednesday on the Rick Run Good YouTube channel for 2 different live chats. We can talk about anything you want. Join me then. But for now, I don't know. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this week's Waste Management. My first sleeper is Bubba Watson. He's $8,500 on DraftKings. He is 55-1 to win this golf tournament. And he is fresh off a missed cut at the Farmers Insurance Open, which I think might at least help to keep his ownership, his sentiment in check just a little bit, because I look at what he's done off the tee and I see 10 consecutive events where he has gained strokes off the tee. I see that he has gained on approach in 6 of his last 7, barring that miscut last week where he lost a stroke and a half in the only round that he played at the South Course, the only measured round that we have. So what I see is a golfer who is in the midst of a really good ball striking stretch, a guy who is going to be so incredibly difficult to watch when he has the putter in his hand. I mean, he hits some putts that look like he has no idea what's going on. But this is the official team no putt week. I'm going with ball strikers. I'm looking at some of the history that Bubba has had here, and he's never won the Waste Management, but it hasn't stopped him from racking up 6 top 10s in his 14 starts, including each of the last 2 years. He finished 3rd and 4th. He has a couple of runner-up finishes in there as well. So usually what we see from Bubba is that there are very specific Bubba tracks. And I know that he doesn't have a win at TPC Scottsdale, but he has a lot of great history. So Bubba track, he is playing well. He's striking it well. He's coming off of a missed cut. Yeah, give me Bubba 55-1 and mid $8,000 on DraftKings. Next up, Russell Henley. He's $8,200 on DraftKings. He's 75-1 to win this golf tournament, and I've already spent a lot of oxygen on him this week, so let me make this very clear. The course key stats model that I run that allows me to see how important each stat is at every single course, I believe it is the best tool that I have. I believe it is the most mathematically sound. I believe that it not only passes the logic, the math test, but it passes the eye test a lot of the time. So I love it, and I really do rely on it. And what we have this week is the course where strokes gained approach is more important than any other course on the PGA Tour. Think about that. Already the most important stat, strokes gained approach, at the course where it is more important than any other course. So I would be silly to not be investing in guys that can hit their irons and their wedge as well. And that is where Russell Henley enters this conversation. He is a notoriously great ball striker. If you need an illustration of his strokes gained approach acumen, look at what he has done since the restart. He's gaining over a stroke per round on approach since the restart. It's the best of anyone in this field. So this is really just a flat out look at the numbers. Approach is important. It's more important here, and Russell Henley has been the best at it. Obviously, there are other aspects of his game that he struggles with. That's why he's not winning every single week. But if I'm ever going to use Russell Henley and similar type golfers, if I'm ever going to use them, now's the time. I'm actually a bit excited to play Brendan Steele, which I don't think is something I've ever said. He's $7,400. He's 125-1 to win this golf tournament. And, there's a lot going on with Brendan Steele. If you didn't know anything about golf and you just looked at his last 2 results, you'd say, okay, he finished 4th at the Sony Open. He finished 21st at the American Express. Those are 2 great finishes. And you'd be right. However, the Sony Open feels like a failure because he was in control of that event. He probably should have won it. He fades to 4th on Sunday. And then the American Express, he played fine. But, he is historically a very good ball striker. The closer he gets to the hole, the more difficult it gets for him. To see his number as deep as it is right now, 125-1 to win this golf tournament, a course and an event that, yes, he's missed the cut in his last 2 trips, but he still has 4 top 10s in his 10 starts in Phoenix, a 3rd place finish, 3 years ago. He had a stretch. I mean, outside of those 2 missed cuts, he hasn't missed one, which I guess is a weird thing to say. You could say that about everybody, but misses the last 2 cuts, made 8 in a row prior to that, was piling up the top 10s, the top 20s here. So this is a really interesting spot for someone who probably doesn't get talked about much this week because he did not play last week. There wasn't a lot of excitement about him, even when he was playing at the American Express, even when he was playing at the Sony Open. So, yeah, Brendan Steele just feels like a really good spot to deploy him, and that's exactly what I'll be doing. Henrick Norlander is next. He's 7,500 on DraftKings. He's 125 to 1 to win this golf tournament. I think this is the most logical one, the most obvious one, the chalkiest one, so I won't spend too much time on it. But, 12th place finish at the American Express, 2nd place finish at the Farmers, and the way he played at the Farmers, 2nd in strokes gained tee to green in the 3 measured rounds that we have for anybody last week. He gained 9.5 strokes from tee to green. He was phenomenal off the tee. He was great on approach, even chipped well. So was in complete control of his game, and he even lost a little bit in putting, which is something you kind of love to see if you're trying to make an investment in someone. You don't want to invest in a guy who just gained 5 or 6 strokes putting in 3 or 4 rounds. So Norlander is going to be popular. Remember, he was a bit of a DFS sweetheart early in the 2021 season. He certainly paid dividends at times, and now we're getting that momentum again. So you're not going to be alone with Henrick Norlander. We've seen the upside. He's playing well. The stats are sticky. They translate week over week, so I don't mind going back to it. Just know you are not alone in playing Henrick Norlander. Sebastian Munoz is $7,100. He's 175 to 1 to win this golf tournament, and there is a very strong case to be made that he is the most mispriced golfer on the entire slate. And, unfortunately, 175 to 1, that's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. I mean, to say that he is in the same ilk of Ches Reavie, JT Poston, Patton Kizzire, Bo Hoag, Dylan Fratelli. I mean, it's Wyndham Clark. It's not. Munoz is much better. He is in the midst of a little bit of a struggle right now. We haven't seen him since the Sony Open. He made the cut there. He played better than average, better than about the field average at the Tournament of Champions. He missed a couple of cuts before that. But if you look at his last 6 months as a whole, he's been playing great, especially in some of these really difficult events, big time fields coming down the stretch of the 2020 season. He was piling up top 10s, piling up top 20 finishes, and we've seen him close out a golf tournament before, right? He's won Sanderson Farms. I think his number should really only be like, I don't know, maybe he should be 80 to 1, which is still very unlikely that he wins this golf tournament, but 175 is incredibly deep. And I actually think I'm looking forward to talking about this in the betting preview. All these numbers seem to be really long this week. I think books are really trying to capitalize on that Super Bowl money that they're getting this week and enticing some of these golf bets. I mean, there's some really long numbers out there. But either way, Sebastian Munoz, who, if you go to the Holy Grail, if you go to the RickRunGood tools and you start sorting, since the restart, which is a time frame that I really like to use, and you just go by strokes gains, you're going to start to see Munoz's name along the lines of guys who are priced at $88,000, $9,000, something in there, and he's 7,100. So I don't know if it'll come to fruition this week, but there is a pretty strong case to be made that Munoz is the most mispriced golfer in this field. There you go. Those are my top 5 sleepers for this week. I hope that allows you to look a bit deeper into some of these other golfers, maybe go find some more information, look up some more numbers, and see if they're a good fit for your lineups or your betting cards. Let me know what you think. Let me know who I left off or who I should not have included. Tweet me at RickRunGood or leave a comment below. Best of luck this week, and I'll talk to you soon.